Hey everybody, how you guys doing today? Today I mentioned in one of the YouTube shorts / TikToks that I was going to do some reviews that I've been thinking about doing. And so here we are. So I've been actually wanting to do this review for what year are we in? 2025? Almost 7 years? Because I started airbrushing back in 2018. 19, and so my first starter paint was actually GPaint. Some of you guys may have heard of it. This is GPaint. It's from Studio G. I don't know if Studio G is even still around. I don't even know if GPaint is still around. But at the time, it was a pretty big deal, and I actually really liked using it. I did one of my first airbrush customs, which was a master grade Sazabi. I didn't really like it, not because of the paint, because of the design. But today, I thought it would be kind of cool to do a GPaint review. So instead of doing the whole line of paints, because I've used the whole line of their starter kit paints, I just decided to do blue today. But I thought, why just do a blue paint review, right? It's kind of weird. So I bring you today, the Battle of the Blues. So, GPaint makes some pretty intense claims. It claims that no primer is required. It claims it is almost completely scratch resistant. It claims that it is pre-thinned straight out of the bottle with no tampering necessary. Having used it, it's like 95% true, 97% true. I would say it does come a little thick, and I've had this since like 2019, 2020 at the latest. So this is some pretty old paint. That being said, today we are going to do a Battle of the Blues. So let me show you the contestants here. We, of course, GPaint. Secondly, we have Aqueous Gundam Blue. Of course, you have to mix it yourself and stuff. We have Tamiya Sky Blue. We have Hobby Mio's Cobalt Blue. And my personal favorite, we have Mecha Blue from Splash Paint. Now, G-Paint is pretty damn durable, don't get me wrong. When it comes to secondary durability, with a primer, of course, Splash is the way to go. I love Splash. It's American made. Don't know if that matters to you, but it's a lot easier to get from where I am. I am based in the States. So Splash Paint is gets here in 2-3 days. It's like standard shipping. It's pretty cool. Anyway, the point is, today is going to be a Battle of the Blues with the blues listed. Here's a list if you forgot. And today we're going to see if GPaint A can hold up to the claims, and B, if any of these other paints with no primer, I have put no primer on any of these pieces. You have to prime all of these paints with the exception of GPaint. So we're going to see if any of these paints, just right out of the bottle, right on a bare piece, can go toe to toe with GPaint. Okay? So enough talk. I'm going to show you guys the spray booth. We're going to spray down some colors. And I'll talk a little bit more about how we're going to test these paints. But until then, here's the spray booth. Okay, so here we are at the testing desk. We're actually at my girlfriend's desk, and because mine is cluttered with projects and crap, so here is what we're going to be doing, okay? I have all of these here, okay? And it's kind of randomized. I actually don't even remember which paint is on which. I can guess for like one of them because obviously this is the lightest of the bunch and it looks very Tamiya. But the thing is, on camera, it looks all the same blue. So hopefully by the time this is all edited and stuff, it looks a little different. But we're gonna go down each blue paint. We are going to do first a scratch with a fresh thumbtack. And then once we've done a scratch with a fresh thumbtack on all of them, we will go to our 400 grit sand sponge and we will do a little bit of sanding. So let's start off with numero uno. This one is nice. It's got a really nice, semi-matte looking dark blue. Very, very pretty. I like it. I like this color very much. Again, I really hope I tweaked this the right way. Anyway, so here's what we're gonna do, all right? We are just gonna find a spot on here. We are just gonna give it a nice, really gonna try to dig in there. So boom, a couple scratches. I actually needed to press pretty hard on here to do that. So actually a little bit more durable. Like this would go to your standard like gunpla and stuff application. This would actually hold up pretty well. Moving on to number 2, I'm gonna give this, again, just a nice scratch right here. Right. This one didn't feel like I needed to scratch nearly as hard on that. So it's very interesting, very interesting. Moving on to number 3. I'm gonna go right on this side panel here. Yep, right through, super simple. All right, on to number 5. Number 5, whoops. Let's do number 4 first, then number 5. So this is number 4. Just gonna go right here. Okay, needed to put a little oomph on that one, but not too bad, not too bad. And then on to number 5. Oh yeah, that's really, that came off the easiest for sure. Easiest for sure. Okay, so as you saw, that was our scratch test. If you want to go back and take a look at that scratch test again and see if you can decipher which one is the GPaint, because they all scratched. All of them scratched. We took a needle to it, we scratched, and one of these is the GPaint, but they all scratched. So now we're gonna take the least used side of this 400 grit and we're gonna do a little sand, okay? So back to number 1, which had that scratch there up in the corner. We're just gonna take a little section here. We're just gonna give it probably 1, 2, 3, 3 strokes. So 1, 2, 3. About 3 strokes there, you can start to see. Whoop. To raise brightness a little bit. 3 strokes, you can see that little bit of paint coming off right on the edges there. All right. This is also no primer, no top coat. All right. So just remember that. Going on to part number 2, we are going to go up here in the corner. So we're just going to do 1, 2, 3. You saw paint started to rub off right on that edge there. All right, you can see the little scratches, the little micro scratches, hopefully you can see the little micro scratches right there, but on the edge the paint comes off easier, obviously. Moving on to number 3, we're just gonna, again, 3 strokes on a flat side with a little edge here and there. So 1, 2, 3. All right, not too bad. Of course, like I just said, the edges are always going to be a little worse, but not too bad, not too bad. Again, no primer. Honestly, this is doing a lot better than I thought it would. So that edge right there, though, more of the rounded edge, not as bad as I thought it would be. Moving on to number 4. Number 4 here, we're going to go right on this flat part. So 1, 2, 3. Oof. those edges came off real bad, but as you can see on the actual bulk of the piece, not too shabby. And onward to number 5. We're gonna go here and just go 1, 2, 3. And yeah, look at that. Coming off real bad, real quick. All right. So that is the durability test. Now I'm going to bring over the paints and we're going to compare which stick to which paint, and we can talk about it after that. Okay, so the blues are back. And so now we are just going to go down the line, or we're actually going to do, how do I want to do this? We are going to pick a bottle here and we are going to reveal what number it is. So let's actually start from right to left. First, the Tamiya Color Sky Blue X14. I knew which one this was, number 4. So as you can see here, number 4, scratch test was pretty easy. The bulk, the flat side actually lasted pretty well, but of course the edges fell prey to the sandpaper. Not too bad. With some primer, I genuinely think that that would have been a hell of a lot more durable, and then a top coat, of course, depending on what top coat you use, even better. But that was not a bad showing from Tamiya. I personally like Tamiya very much. So now going on to Splash's Mecha Blue. That was number 1. Number 1. Didn't feel like it was too easy to scratch, but as you can see, it did on the edges, not too bad, but on the edges, a little bit of scuffing and scratching here and there. This is one of the more durable paints that I have, so I thought it would fare a little bit better, but overall, not too bad with 3 swipes of sandpaper. I personally don't think so. On to Hobby Mio Cobalt Blue. That was number 5. Number 5. Yeah, I could have saw that one coming. Man, you really need to prime and top coat Hobby Mio. They got great colors, but the durability is definitely not there. They're more thinned out than some of the other paints that I've used. So take these results how you will. But this is, I mean, I didn't know which one was which. The only one I really knew was Sky Blue because of the blue hue was so different. So we have Aqueous. We have Mr. Hobby Aqueous Gundam Blue, and we have GPaint's Blue. But again, remember, they all scratched and they all scuffed. So I guess it doesn't really matter which is which. But let's move on to the GPaint, which is number 2. Number 2 was this part here. As you can see, minimal on the scratching, or minimal on the sanding, not too bad, but that scratch went right through. You know, I mean, it was little to no effort, really. So, claim or not, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, and that leaves Mr. Hobby Aqueous Gundam Blue. Not too bad on the sanding. Like, honestly, let me see if I can raise the brightness a little bit here, because I feel like we're a little dull. No, I'll have to do that in post. But yeah, the scuffing, like the sanding, not too bad. The scratch went through like the rest, but not too bad. The thing was, this is great. This is some really good data and stuff, but maybe this was a little too harsh, you know? So what we're gonna do is, even though we know which one each one is, we're gonna go back with a toothpick, all right? And we're gonna see how about that, because metal on paint and plastic, that's pretty harsh. So how about we give them the benefit of the doubt and retry this a little bit, all right? What do you say? Alrighty, so we got them all lined up again. We know which brand is which, and we are gonna go in with a fresh toothpick here, and we're gonna take the tip and we are going to just scratch on it with a decent amount of pressure. I would say, I know it's hard to trust me and say, hey, you're doing it exactly how you did it before. I get that, I understand, but you gotta trust me here. I'm gonna use the same amount of pressure with the intention of scratch that paint off with this toothpick, okay? So, let's do it. We will go opposite of our original scratch here. So, all right, nothing coming off. No primer. Splash paint. Passes. We are now moving on to GPaint. We're gonna go just on the opposite panel here. Let's see this. The surface gets a little, you know, nothing. Not. I mean, even the surface looks pretty good. Moving on to Aqueous Gundam Blue. We're just gonna go again, going parallel here. I mean, nothing at all. And then moving on to Tamiya color, Sky Blue, moving down. Was catching a bit more. Yeah, you see that? It was catching a little bit more, and it did rub off ever so slightly. You can see the finish is completely messed up there, and then you can see the bits of white poking through. So Tamiya does not pass the toothpick test. You can see right there, that blue just came off. So we're actually going to switch sides to the cobalt blue, and if this passes, I'd be shocked. Okay, so let's just let's see here. We'll go up here. Oh, right away. I mean, little to no effort. Needs primer. Needs primer. Okay, so the toothpick test. We have 2 that failed, 3 that passed. That is going to be Splash, GPaint, and Mr. Hobby, Aqueous Gundam Blue. Those 3 passed, flying colors, but I would say Tamiya and Hobby Mio are definitely the weakest of the bunch. None of them passed the metal thumbtack test. I'm just going to put that out there. And it seems like GPaint and what's it called, Splash, did better. I wouldn't say pass, but they did better than the other 3 in the bunch. So let's talk about these conclusions. All right, so that's it. That's the video. We compared all of the blues that I have, and we found that GPaint holds up only slightly better than some of the alternatives that you may find on the market. I would say the strongest of the bunch were definitely Splash Mecha Blue, GPaint Blue, and Mr. Hobby Aqueous Gundam Blue. I would say either of those, any of those 3, are completely fine. That is saying, though, that this test is without primer. I must preface this. If you put primer and a top coat on some of these and stuff, GPaint versus Splash versus Mr. Hobby versus Hobby Mio versus Tamiya, I don't think it really matters. I really don't. If you like GPaint, that's fine. I like it too. Pre-thin, it comes with a nozzle here. It's pretty good. I would say that find it at a good price though, because it does come thick and you will need to thin it out just a little bit. I would say this sprayed on very, very thick, and a little bit of thinning could have done a little bit of good. Again, if you're asking personally what I think, I fully endorse Splash. I am not sponsored by anyone. I completely do this just with my own experiences, and as you saw on my girlfriend's desk, scratching shit up. So the test is the test, and the results are the results. So with all of that, I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that this may help you in buying some of your colors for your next project. If you do want to see my review of, I believe, Tamiya, Hobby Mio, and Splash, I have some up on my channel. So if you want to go watch that, go watch that. I did them a long time ago when I was actually much newer to the airbrushing scene, so they were a lot less local. They were a lot less quality, but I do think that the results are completely accurate. I was using, in fact, the same airbrush setup I'm using right now, which, by the way, I am going to be doing a review, hopefully sooner than later, but I'm not entirely sure. But I am using the Galeri airbrush system. I have the Galeri dual drive compressor, and I have the Galeri GHAD 39 Advanced Series airbrush, as well as the Trigger Style Advanced airbrush as well. Hopefully, I will be getting a new airbrush just because I want to upgrade, better quality stuff. I'm getting back into the models and such. But keep an eye out for all of that, and that's enough jabber from me. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys come to the next one. See you later.